What's up, y'all? Yo, we made it. We made it. Happy to be here, man. So glad y'all can make it. Just thinking about the marathon. Marathon. Not like Nipsey Hussle, but just the race. Life is it's a marathon. Life is a marathon. It's a race, but you're not racing. It's not like who's the first to cross the finish line. It's more about setting your pace. You set your pace. You start off fast. It's like just without a conscience, right? And you run into all type of situations, some worse than others. And if you don't pace yourself, what happens is you get slowed down during the race. The universe will slow you down during the race, right? Just not learning your lessons. So like the marathon, the concept of it is, you pace yourself and you run the marathon with understanding, certain understandings, right? Some that you learned, some understandings you was given, through instruction, direction, or following certain examples. And others, you learned, the hard way, I call it the hard way through experience, right? That's the hard way. So during this race, it's hard. It's hard to tell who's favored to win, until them final miles, and where you look back and you see where as though the fastest person necessarily wasn't in their best interest to be fast, if that makes sense, right? And that's like sort of living fast. The universe got its own way, got its own way of teaching us things, right? Some people learn off of mistakes, hard-headed, I put myself in one of those categories, right? Some people learn off of other people's mistakes and triumphs, as well. But we all have understandings of this thing, and have a understanding of this thing called life, or this marathon that we call life, right? And the understanding is not really the understanding of what we think this is. Pete, you got an expression. You got an expression called happiness. You have an expression that presents itself as success. I want to touch those two, right? Happiness and success, right? So success, I touched on this in the last video. Success is something that we as people are taught. We're taught to covet, and by that meaning, it's a picture that's painted. Now we don't really critique the artist of this picture, right? But it's a picture, and it looks a certain way. And then happiness, right? It's a picture of happiness that it looks a certain type of way. And we don't critique the artist. We don't know who the artist is, so we can't blame. We don't blame. Not good to blame nobody. But through common customs, let's call it that. Through common customs, people are birthed or born into a unique sector or a unique group of common customs. You could say culture, whatever you want to, however you want to call that, right? And in different cultures, certain customs are common. Okay, you got so many different people, you know, in America, even in the world's a melting pot, right? And each group has their own set of common customs. So success and happiness looks different to each group. You know what I'm saying? To each group, success and happiness looks different. I'm telling you, 39 years. I'm starting to understand more so, and just through freedom of thought, not really bound by beliefs or beliefs, right? Each person has their own unique experience here in this realm, and nobody's exempt from that. If we share a moment, we woke up today, man. I'm glad you could make it, man. This is fruition. It's truly wonderful to be here, man. Hit that like and subscribe. Each one of us has their own micro universe or world or movie, right? And it's theirs. The cameras is not rolling all the time, but it's your movie, right? You have it's no record of the experience. Only your memory of what you're conscious when you awake. What happens, your experiences while you're awake, right? And even that can get foggy depending on how much you do the same stuff, right? That can get foggy. It can get, blurry. You know what I'm saying? Your experience with people, places, and things is temporary. It's temporary. So your determination you have to think about it. Just to put in perspective, right? My mother and my father, they gave me the opportunity to have this experience through that micro or that realm, right? Through that realm, that's where I was birthed or I was born into, and gave opportunity to have my own experience through this world. It's not my mother's, it's not my father's. It's not their mothers, not their fathers. That is the line or lineage or the portals in which we came here to experience, life or this marathon, right? Each person has to define what happiness is to them, and each person has to define what success is for them. You understand what I'm saying? The social common customs or the social norms, that is a ploy. It's a ploy against what our consciousness says is right or wrong, or what's happy and what success is. Point blank, period. It doesn't matter what the president's doing. It doesn't matter what outer space is doing. It really doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It doesn't. These things keep us trapped. These things keep us trapped in a mental or a psychology, like what you call it, like a mental prison, and it doesn't allow you to think outside of the box. It don't allow you to think outside the box because you got so much stuff that pops up, so many ads that pop up in front of you saying that, you're not happy, you're not successful. How are you gonna tell me I'm not happy and I'm not successful? What you know about it? Yo, come on, man. Like, what you know about it, right? You wasn't even born into my group or my system of common customs. You don't even know what's normal or happy or successful to us. And you can't force upon someone else what your perspective or your point of view of what happiness and success is. That is tough. That's tough to do. Because now what you're trying to do is convey or explain, you're trying to convey or explain or express your perception on what yourself is to them. Now, mind you, we're all interconnected in this thing. If you can't see yourself in someone else, you're disconnected, right? Someone only can do what they can do, right? I mean, I've learned that even. Like, you gotta have compassion for people, you know? You gotta have enough compassion for people, you know, to let them go and trust that they'll figure it out, no matter who they are. Really, you know what I mean? How much you care about them, right? Because someone can only do as they're equipped to do, or how much capacity their mind will allow them to be aware of certain things. And it comes time. I mean, with me it took time. But yeah, man, you have to be self-aware. If we're aware of everybody else, you're less aware of yourself, and that's the zero in part. You got to zero in and be aware of yourself and your environment. The environment played a crucial part in your understanding, right? And what you consider to be valuable versus what's not. Shout out to the parents out there. Shout out to the parents, man, with children coming up in this world. Right now is the best time to be alive. Why wouldn't it be? Man? Especially when we made it, man. It's things happening. Yeah, it's always things happening, right? But if you can help somebody in their experience to become more aware, with understanding your own and compassion of your own, you can help someone to enjoy their experience through awareness. Particularly, just compassion and through compassion and respect. You have to respect that, and which comes before you, that you know nothing about. You don't know your parents. You don't know your parents what their movie was. The old timers before us. We don't know. If they could tell us, we still wouldn't know. And it's that part. If they could tell us, if they actually convey, what their movie was, how they remembered it, we wouldn't even understand it, right? So it's kind of, we got to show compassion, to the elders and to the youth as well, and we have to be the vanguards and build a common custom that is conducive for the next generation to thrive in. Whether you brought them in, whether we brought them in through our portal, through our own seeds, and through our own vehicles and our own wisdom and understanding, or not. As adults, we have a responsibility to make it our business, right? As being the vanguards of awareness, because we're aware of things that's there that that's not seen with the naked eye. And so, what's the point in having jewels and not giving it up when that's invaluable. The knowledge, right? When you can share it with someone, say, that right there, what you're doing right there, that after a while that takes its toll on you. It's not good for you. And I'm not telling you something I read. I'm telling you something I experienced. That's not good for you, right? that becomes more like an obligation. You know, that's obligatory. That's not all, man. You know, I choose I choose to hold on to that, right? It's sort of like, you know, and you know, in check, it's all right, right? Yeah, it's all right. It's just, you know, it's all right. You know, that doesn't mean, you know, it's something that slips past me or went past me. I you know, I stumbled at, or you know, I fumbled that play, right? That don't mean it's going to get past the next one. It's a chain link, man. This is consciousness, and this is fruition, and we create our worlds and our realms that we thrive in. Our you know, the only way to lose this race, man, to lose the marathon, is stop running, man. Yo, that's the only way you can lose, man. Stop running. You know what I mean? Sort of like, you know, you was born to lose, but built to win. You built to win, but born to lose. One of those things, right? Cookie said that to me back in the day, man. We was born to lose, but built to win. That way, man. You know? Damn. Just gotta, you know, the only way to lose, man, is really to quit, man, and stop running. The final miles probably look like the toughest miles. You know, Joker that ran the whole race and get down to the last kilometer or whatever, you know it is. And now it comes down to, you know, who won it more, you know, who finishing up, you know what I mean? And you might not get first prize. First prize you might not get, but you don't lose unless you quit. I believe that. How can you lose? Says who? Right? Says who? Right? But yeah, man. You know, this thing, you know, life's a beautiful thing, and I you know, I just, you know, I challenge everybody to become more aware, you know, really, you know, take time to breathe and analyze, you know, ask yourself, man, if I had that millions of dollars right now in my bank account, and the cars and the houses and everything right there, like I had it right now at this very moment, what would I be doing right now? What would I be doing? Just, you know, if I had all of that right now at this moment, what would I be doing? You know? Yeah. But hey, man, listen, glad you could make it, man. This is fruition, man. Everybody have a truly wonderful, great everything. Peace.